audience, you can ask questions to the presenters, and it's highly encouraged. Please keep the chat option just for the organizers to communicate with each other. Highly encourage questions, and teams are advised to monitor the questions tab so that they can answer questions. We'll be starting in 30 seconds. Okay, let's start. Welcome to Coronathon Demo Day 2. As you might know, Coronathon is an online hackathon to reduce impact of COVID-19 in India. Currently, we are 2 weeks old, and we have over 2,600 members, and we have 40 plus projects ongoing. Today is our Demo Day 2. This is where we showcase our ideas to the world. Teams demonstrate the progress that they have and make asks from the audience to help them out. Today's demo day will be structured in 3 parts. In the first part, I'll be giving an overview of what has happened in Coronathon since the last demo day, last Sunday. In the second part, which is where we'll have 14 new projects demoing their ideas. And in the last part, we'll have a Q&A with Dr. Biju Jacob, who's the director of the UN Healthcare Innovation Exchange. Today, we are having a very distinguished judging panel. We have Mr. Alok Mittal, who's the CEO of Wingify and founding member of the Indian Angel Network. We have Shiva Chinnaswamy from Google Pay India, Dr. Biju Jacob, who's the director of UN Healthcare Innovation Exchange. We have Pranay Patil from the National Health Authority, Avinash Raghava from Axel Partners, Sanjay Inishetty from 50K Ventures, Chandana Agarwal from 82.5, part of the Ogilvy Group, Gandhi Sampath from Google Pay, and Kishore and Ayush from Let's Venture. So I'll be starting first with an overview of the existing projects and where we have come since the last 7 days. Can you guys see my screen? Is someone chat? Yes.
We can see your screen. You can go ahead.
Okay. So this is part 1, and I'm going to give a progress update on behalf of the teams that pitched in Demo Day 1, which was last Sunday. We're going to start out with some community updates, which we think is great to be shared with the rest of Coronathon and broader public. Is consideration possibilities with 4 of our solutions. These are Safe Zone, Paga, COVID SOS, and Hospital. We'll be sharing a blog link where you can read more about these projects. We are also very pleased to announce a grant from Agarwal in his individual 50,000 rupees to Coronathon projects. We're going to be giving this to 2 teams, Panman and Paga, who will both receive 25,000 rupees each. Congratulations to Panman and Pagar and Google Pay teams as well. So I'm going to move on to updates on the projects. This is going to be really quick, and I'm going to cover the top updates and asks from the community. The first one is Panman, which is a pandemic management software. Since last week, they've onboarded 1 private hospital chain in Bangalore. They're also in talks with 3 other chains and state governments, and their app is being approved by Google Play. By next week, they plan to acquire 5 private sector customers, trial with 1 government hospital or college, and incorporate tech integrations. Okay, sorry. And incorporate tech integrations to increase value. The second project update is Corona Daily Update, which is an SMS service to citizens of India. The team wants to cater COVID information from official sources to older rural-leaning demographics who are not digitally savvy to track numbers on apps and dashboards. The key asks from this community is they want you to help share about Corona daily updates, broadcast their message through communication channels, and connect them with NGOs who serve rural communities so the vision of the team can be achieved. The third project I want to update on is Project X-Ray Corona. This project wants to detect cases of COVID-19 from chest X-rays using machine learning. They've already launched their MVP. They've collected additional data for 50 positive COVID cases. They've received a prize of 10,000 rupees from promoteR.com, and they're also in discussion with AXA and ICMR for funding and testing approvals. The key ask from the community is AWS credits for hosting and storing datasets. They are also making a funding ask of $120,000 to onboard developers and radiologists. The fourth project is COVID-19 PPE Tracker. This platform aims to connect requirements of PPE with availability of PPE. Key updates, they've helped IIT Bombay donate 7,000 gloves and 3,000 masks.
Please zoom your presentation.
COVID patient hospitals can use them. They have also in IIT Hyderabad and MLRIT have accepted the offers to donate. They're in talks with different governments and educational institutions to give their stock to hospitals that need them very urgently. Their asks is they want help connecting to the governments in state to help with logistics. If you can put this team in contact with higher authorities or authorities in educational institutes, hospitals, PPE manufacturers, that would be very grateful. Safe Slot is our next project. The essential idea is they want to, for every store, they can help the store operate at reduced capacity by getting people to book slots so when they can do their purchases. The key updates, their MVP will be launched at 10 a.m. on Monday. They're also starting a crowdsource campaign to refer stores. The asks from the community is if you have a nearby store that you think should be on Safe Slot so people can access them in a social distancing way, please refer your website. Also, if you have contacts of retail chains that you think will benefit, please connect them to Safe Slot. Track COVID-19 is our next project. It's a hyperlocal PIN code-based community surveillance tool. What they've achieved is 20,000 users and global outreach in Japan and United Kingdom. They have a translation for different languages. And now they can provide positive cases in Mumbai and Philadelphia. The need from this project is media help to spread the word about this project. And if you have contacts in the Indian government, they would love the support. You can read more about all of these projects on our blog. C19, this is a project to help different parties, government and private sector, share the data in a way that no one loses confidentiality and you can run analytics on them. Key updates coming in from C19, they're implementing a solution for government of Assam to share its data with private partners. They have partnered with COVID India to implement their solution at hospital levels so that they can share data. They're very concerned about GDPR, and they've been compliant to GDPR laws based out by a professor in Trinity College Dublin, and they've also enabled API implementation so other solutions can build on top of that. I have a few more updates. Solo Coin, very popular, formerly called Corona Go. They've rebranded and launched on the Play Store. Multiple influencer partnerships on Instagram and TikTok to promote this app. They're also having partnership reach outs to Zomato, Swiggy, and other companies to reward users who use the app to ensure that they remain socially distant. I have two more projects to go. COVID FOII. This is a one-stop solution to provide information about authorities, labs, etc., COVID-19 related. The key update is they've launched their beta version on 22nd March. The MVP will be rolled out on 5th of April. They've also been selected to demo this project at another hackathon, Hack the Crisis India Hackathon. They also have a strong team now of 22 people. The strong institutional support coming in for COVID FYI. I am Code will do a press release They're reaching with, they're in contacts with the Delhi government, and the IIM Kozhikode's incubation center is coordinating with the Kerala government. The asks coming from them is they want more support from the government in scaling up this solution. They're also sourcing tech advisors for scalability, and they want to build a bigger brand. So if you're into branding and marketing, please reach out to them. The last project I'm covering is Safe Zone. This allows to track people who are in quarantine, make sure they don't step out of their zones by geofencing. The major update from them is that the APKs are deployed in Google Play Store and will soon be available for downloads. So these are the updates from Coronathon Demo Day 1 pitching teams. As you can see, a lot of progress has happened. Teams are very committed towards delivering, rolling out these solutions and achieving impact in India, and we continue to work very hard. With this, we come to the end of this section about last week's teams. I'm gonna hand over the floor to Tarun Davda, MD of Matrix Partners, who will do a quick talk about ACT grants. Tarun, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Sorry for joining late. I actually didn't get the link on time, but am I audible now?
Yes, please go ahead, Tarun. You're audible.
Great. So guys, I'm going to take a few minutes to just talk about the ACT Fund. Obviously, this, all the stuff that you guys are working on is super exciting and very relevant to what we are doing. So thank you all for taking out the time, and thank you for sort of, spending time on, solving this important initiative with us. I'm going to talk about the ACT Fund. It's a 100 crore grant fund, which has been basically created by members of Indian startup community. Both founders, investors, and other ecosystem players. These are also obviously personal contributions, so it's not coming from the funds themselves, but from people working at these funds and from founders personally. We're looking obviously to help any volunteers or any founders or entrepreneurs that are looking to build solutions to fight COVID or to prevent or slow down the spread of COVID. With a relatively, obviously, immediate impact in terms of what one can see on the ground, right? But obviously, given how rapidly this has been spreading, we're looking for ideas that can, show impact in, days and weeks versus months and years, because unfortunately, we don't have that kind of time. So that's obviously, one thing to keep in mind as you all are thinking about whether that fund, grant is actually relevant for you all or not. The second thing, obviously, is we're looking for stuff which, where the Acp Fund, not just the money, but the network that, comes with it, can act as a force multiplier. And I'll actually talk to you about a couple of initiatives that we already funded. So you got a sense of, what might we be looking for. So we're not looking, obviously, to do any direct handouts, etc., which I know this is not anyway the context of the current discussion, but I'm just, putting it out there. So we're looking for scalable ideas. We're looking for capital efficient ideas. We're looking for ideas with immediate impact. And we're looking for, like I said, anything where, not just the money, but even the network of, all the funds and all the, startup founders that have come together can help disproportionately scale these ideas to touch, millions of lives, right? In terms of the focus areas, we're going to be looking to support areas in broadly 6 segments. This is not to say we will not be looking at other ideas. So if there are any ideas that fall outside of these 6, please do continue to send those to us at the actgrants.in website. Because like I said, these are where we think the most ideas will come. But if there's something unique that we haven't thought of, we're more than happy to evaluate those as well. The areas that we're looking at right now is, one is prevention of COVID spread. So any ideas that can help reduce the spread of the disease, including any digital tools, any social distancing apps, any contact tracing apps, any telemedicine and education apps, anything that can help slow down the spread of COVID. That's one big area that we're looking to provide the grant to. The second area is scaling testing. As you all know, India is still doing very, very few tests. So we're looking to do anything that will help us scale the speed and help, significantly drive down the cost of testing. So whether it's new protocols, whether it's multi-stage testing frameworks, whether it's scaling the current sort of PCR testing capacity, whether it's coming up with new tests that are sort of focused on more, antibody sort of methodologies. We're looking to, to help scale any of these ideas. The third one is obviously disease management at home. So anything where a patient who's identified as high risk or is identified as, testing positive for corona, how do we support those patients at home through telemedicine, through healthcare services at home, that will help them get the necessary care and help them recover at home. Because again, the one thing that we all expect will happen is, if this continues spreading at the pace at which it's been spreading, we will see a significant and severe shortage of hospital capacity. And so any ideas that will help manage disease at home is the third area we're looking for. The fourth area is obviously helping scale hospital capacity, right? So anything that will increase availability of hospital capacity, ICU capacity, protective gear for healthcare workers, all of those things are sort of areas that we are looking to provide grants to. The fifth one is managing critically ill patients. So again, over here, whether it's ventilator capacity, whether it's helping scale trained staff, whether it's oxygen supply, whether it's again tools for tracking sort of hospital capacity across the country, stuff like that, right? Anything that the government can use in the case of where this really spreads much faster than what a particular hospital or a particular area can accommodate. And then the last one is mental health, right? Anything that can help support people in this time of broad high anxiety levels, not just of patients and the immediate families, but just of people in general, because a lot of us haven't obviously seen anything like this in our lifetimes. And while some people will be able to deal with it, there will be a lot of people who will require some support, right? And so anything in the mental health sort of space that we can fund, that's also the other area we're looking for. And again, just to repeat, we're not doing any direct handouts. We're looking for capital efficient, scalable ideas where there is some tech component, obviously, that can help scale it. But more importantly, are there ideas that we can do with the startup ecosystem? So can we sort of help plug in some of our portfolio companies to help scale these ideas where there's some module that has already been built out by these companies, and can we lend that versus sort of reinventing the wheel? Right. So broadly, I think those are the areas that we're looking to fund. I'm happy to talk about one or two areas that we have already given a grant to, just so that people get an idea of what we're looking to do. But before that, I'll maybe just pause and see if there are any questions that anyone would like to ask.
Tarun, the attendees cannot ask you questions, so I suggest you go ahead and finish off the pitch deck, and they will reach out to you in chat.
Yeah, Tarun, this is I was just monitoring questions tab, and one question came. Maybe you can talk about it. How do they send their pitch deck, and how much time do you take to sort of reply?
Yes. So great question, guys. There is a website that we have put up. It's called actgrants.in. I'll just repeat that. It's A for Apple, C for cat, T for table, grants, grants.in. Once you go there is a type form that you can fill in. It captures various details like the team, the idea, a short one-pager or a couple of slides that you have. To repeat, this is not equity style funding, so there's really no paperwork. There's no sort of equity that we're taking in exchange. This is completely grant style. In terms of timelines, once you submit the application on actgrants.in, which should not take you more than 5 minutes ideally, we will likely get in touch with you within 24 to 48 hours. We have a team that is working around the clock. Obviously, we are getting a lot of applications. I think till yesterday, we had already gotten close to 400 applications. And we are actively evaluating applications as quickly as we can. Our ideal goal is that we should be able to get back to you with a decision within a matter of days. And so definitely within 5 to 7 days. Obviously, the ideas that we are taking forward may require maybe a couple of days more because It just requires a few more discussions. It requires us to speak to some, healthcare practitioners and experts. It requires us to talk to the team, on more than one occasion to understand exactly what they're looking to do. But I would say, the idea is to do this within a week end to end for everybody. And the money then, once we approve the grant, I think the money should be wired to the respective teams within 24 to 48 hours is the goal. We're doing this through United Way in Bangalore. They are completely set up to wire the funds as soon as we approve the funds from our side. Initial grant would be anywhere between 25 lakhs to 1 crore, and ideas that we see are working. So when you do the initial grant, obviously there'll be some agreement with the team in terms of what milestones we expect the team to hit, and the team has set up for themselves. And if we see that broadly those milestones are being met and the idea is actually working, either we will put in more money, whether it's 2 crores, 3 crores, whatever it may be, or we will tap into other sort of government funds or other sort of foundations that may be more suitable to provide the scale of funding that may be required for these ideas to work. I think where we are seeing
thank you, Tarun. Thank you so much, Tarun. I think we should move on with the demos. I think time we on the tight schedule.
Sounds good. Okay, I didn't know how much time I had, guys, but I hope it was helpful. And again, if you have any questions, just go to actgrants.in and drop us a line.
So thank you, Tarun,
we'll
for that.
circulate the website to the whole audience. Thanks.
Thank you.
Perfect. Sounds good, guys.
Good evening, guys. This is Vivek from the organizing team. So I'll be moderating today's demos. So we have 14 in line for you. We'll be, so thank you for joining us for the second demo day. Like Satish has already mentioned, this is the second week where we are just a 14-day long community that has put out so far. We're working on around 40 projects, and we have demoed 18 in the last week, and today we have demoing 14. So, so I thank you. I thank all the panelists who have joined, who will be, who will be viewing all the demos and helping them out in whichever way possible. So without any further delay, I'll just quickly run through the format. So each team gets 5 minutes, and basing on the questions that we receive in the question section of your GoTo chat, we will pick up 2 questions and ask the team to answer them. And we'll quickly keep moving. So without any further delay, I'll bring up the first team, which is Quiz Corona. And the lead presenter is Nakul Verma. So let me just quickly make him the presenter. Nakul, I hope you're ready.
Hello? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Nakul, we can see your screen. You have 5 minutes, and your time starts now.
Great. 1 second. All right. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's staying in, staying safe. We are Team Quiz Corona. We are trying to gamify community awareness through this WhatsApp-based chatbot. I'm going to talk a little bit about the problem and the solution now. So, 1 sec. Everyone would agree that community awareness is really important to fight the current COVID crisis. But to be able to do community awareness, we need to have access to the right information. But we would also agree that we already have too much information. There are news channels which are repetitive. There are WhatsApp forwards which can be fake. So our goal is to solve this problem of how can we make consuming information fun and engaging. And to do this, we are launching a solution which is Quiz Corona. What we do is we take the information from different verified sources. We turn those into quizzes, and we run those quizzes on WhatsApp-based chatbots. They can be taken by general public, and once you take the quiz, you get some points. For every point, we donate 1 rupee to the PM Cares Fund. The donation comes from different CSR initiatives. So the idea is that there are so many initiatives already funding, adding funds to the PM Cares initiative. But if the channel through us, it creates this feeling that everyone can contribute. Even if they don't have the money to contribute, they can take the quiz and support the cause. And at the same time, we create a very fun way of learning and fighting fake news. And so the overall overarching vision is that this needs to be vernacular. It will be in multiple languages, all Indian languages. And the content that we're creating is done by Dr. Himanshu of Safdarjung Hospital and his team of a few doctors. This is being taken from the websites that you can see on the screen. I'm going to quickly move to the demo now. So this is, as I said, is a WhatsApp-based chatbot. I can join by getting a forward. So this is currently in sandbox. So we start the quiz by saying hi. And you can type start. So the fun thing here is the questions, the difficulty of the questions increases with time, and at the same time, the time allowed for each question is also reduced. So it is really gamified. It helps you get in a state of flow. So I'm going to quickly do this. And you get feedback in terms of points. You also get information that is available from verified sources, which you can share with people. Currently, this is in English, but it will be in different languages. So as you can see, the questions are really simple in the beginning. So we want everyone to be able to at least reach a certain place with respect to how much they can contribute. So just answering these questions. I already know all the answers. So yeah, I'm just gonna give. So yeah, currently in the demo, we have 5 questions. And after the demo, I get my score. I'm gonna quickly move to, so this is the demo. I'm gonna move to the roadmap of what we have in store next. So we plan to, one, add support for multiple languages. The second thing that we want to do is we want to add Twitter integration. So after you take the quiz, we can ask you to add your picture and we can share this on Twitter and then share the link back with you so you can share this with your friends. We want to add location tracking. So for example, you can send your location to us and we can, if we hit scale, we'll be able to show all of this on a map so that government can actually work in terms of creating awareness. The next step is to then take the quiz. 1 minute. Okay, you can take the quiz via IVR, so even people who don't have a smartphone can participate. The team is me. You can reach out to me on swavlambi@gmail.com. In terms of asks, I have 2 requests particularly. I need connects for corporate CSR. I'm already talking to a bunch of people, but if you can help us here, it will be really helpful. WhatsApp Business API, we need launch approval. So anything with the government, we are in talks with different government, different state governments, but your help is required here as well. We need funds to support salaries for the team and infrastructure costs for supporting the bot. I'm up for questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nakul. So we have one question for you. So can one WhatsApp user take it multiple times?
Yes, this is an ongoing game. So we keep a track of how much progress you have made.
Okay, so if they can take it, does the donation gets multiplied or?
No, so this is like a game. So for example, we will keep a track of the questions that you have answered, and then we will ask you new questions.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Nakul.
So
moving on. Okay. Moving to our next project, which is COVID-19 fighting fake news. And this is being presented by Zishan. Zishan, I'm making you the presenter right now. Just give me a second. Okay. Guys, can someone make Zishan? My GoTo is not working. Paras, can you make Zishan the presenter?
I don't see Zishan here.
Mohammad Zishan, Fatmi panelist on your staff.
He is
I didn't
presenter
see
now.
that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes. Your time starts now.
All right. Hello and good evening, everyone. This is Mohammed Zishan, and today I'll be taking you through our project COVID-19 Fighting Fake News. So the intent behind this is to fight the menace of fake news and misinformation related to COVID-19, which we believe is a bigger pandemic than COVID-19 itself. So let's take a quick look at the team. So I have Arjun, Anand, Abhijit, Anuj, Dipanshu, Charchit, and even Mr. Paras who held us in technical and operations. We have Alok, Nikhil, Ankur, Amir, and Lakan as fact checkers, and then we have volunteers Hisham, Shidhar, and Neetu with myself as a project lead. So now let's take a quick look at the problem that we are solving. So the problem that we intend to solve is the rise of fake news across multiple platforms, which is WhatsApp, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and SMSs. Now, as per Statista, we see that 45% of the people, they are not aware of any fact-checking websites, and only 20% trust news that are debunked by these fact-checking sites. And as per Economic Times, 2019 was a year of fake news in India, which resulted in close to 45 to 46 deaths. Now, why this happens is because people are not aware, people lack clarity, and there is this strong urge to share any breaking news and be a part of the exclusive group. People think by sharing fake news or news related to nation building, they are it shows nationalism, and there is a psychological factor of fear of missing out. And the other important factor is the lack of time and patience. So people don't really have these in these times. So the types of fake news that we are looking at is fake advisories by and notifications that can be easily photoshopped. We have images, we have memes, we have videos, fake stats, fake reports. We have this KYC update messages from Paytm, SBI, ICICI, and then news items that are misinterpreted by the mainstream channels as well. So let's take a quick look at some of the examples. So on the right hand side, we see some currency notes being thrown, which was shown as people in Italy throwing money, but that turned out from Venezuela, which was due to hyperinflation. On the right, we see Mr. Modi has been selected as part of a task force, and this was reported by a mainstream channel, but this was not the case. There's no task force formed as such. And on the top, we see a particular community uh, with plates and all, and this message was spread as Muslim community is spreading coronavirus through saliva by licking plates. But again, this was not the case, as it was a Bora community which was just cleaning the grains and all that stuff. So where we step in is we validate the fake news for you. We check for real facts, real reports, real data, and then we share it with you and then encourage you to spread the word. So this intense saves your time, saves your energy. And we have a small WhatsApp group. Until date, we have verified around 22 25 items. And the reason why we are using WhatsApp is because WhatsApp is the medium that is used to propagate fake news, and we are using the same medium to break the chain. It's easy, it's simple, it's familiar, and it's free. So taking a look at the market landscape, basically these are not our competitors, but these are sources from where we collect data. So we take data from WHO, central government sites, social media handles, PIB, UNICEF, AFP Fact Checker, Google, Boom, and all these sites. So the current progress, which I'll show you now, is we have a normal WhatsApp group, we have a Twilio account and a number, and then we have compiled all the fake news items that we have received. So let's take a look at the demo. 1 second. Yeah. So this is the first news item that you see. It's about some German state finance minister killing himself. So this was a true news, which I have only verified. And then we had this video sent by Hisham. It was about a truck dumping bodies in Italy, but then it turned out from pandemic movie. And then we had this currency, which I've already spoken about. And so like this 1,000-bed hospital in Rajasthan, which was not the case. And this I have verified, and I've shared all the true links as well. Now, the specific things.
Zishan, you have a minute to go.
Yes. So the specific things what we are looking for is we are looking for a WhatsApp for Business official account and API, so that we can people are able to save our numbers and then we can indulge in one-to-one conversations. We are looking. We are also open to any AI or machine learning platforms which will make this process easier. We are looking for a fact checker army. So basically, we want a lot of people who can verify the news items that we receive and then reply back, and not only in English or Hindi but in regional languages as well. We need technical people who are good good in integration and all that sort of stuff. And then we are looking for people who can handle social media stuff, who can handle websites, so that all the information that we are receiving can easily be shared to all the people, and just break the chain. So yeah, so that's all about my project, and I'm open to any questions now.
Thank you, Zishan. I think so. Right now? What is your how is your team organized?
So right
Sorry.
now, what we yeah, tell
Please
me.
go on. Please go on. Please go on.
So right now we have this small WhatsApp group. So it's a closed group. We have around 13 people, and we have fake news messages coming in. So and then I only either me or Arjun. So we have this team who verifies this. So like this was the latest message that came in. Eggs thrown out due to Corona hatch. But then I was not able to view the content, so I'll check it. And then we had this, like today 9 o'clock we have this light switch off thing. So there were a lot of fake messages going on saying it will lead to this, it will lead to that. So then I have shared this link saying all these apprehensions are false. There's nothing to be, there's nothing happening as such. So yeah, we have this small group where we communicate, and this is only being, being it's within ourselves. But if we have a WhatsApp account, and we can have direct one-to-one conversations with people.
Okay, thank you, Zishan. Moving
Yeah,
on. Next we have is Dushyant Reddy with Janta Pass. Dushyant, I'm coming to you. I'm making you the presenter. Dushyant, you are the presenter now. Can you share your screen? Dushyant? Okay, Dushyant, we can see your screen, but you're still on mute.
Hello. Hi, good evening,
Hello.
everyone.
Yeah, Dushyant. Good evening. You have 5 minutes. Your time starts now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. This is from Janta Pass, a team which is taking a little bit of contrarian approach and a complementary. Contrarian because we are covering an area which other people have not covered. That is the whole population who are outside the ambit of legal passes. It is also using the concept of social pressure. That means it is using that the fact that power not only flows from authority but also from within. So hope you're all doing well, and you're ensuring that your loved ones are doing well too. We appreciate that all of you are using utilizing individual skills in this great collective endeavor. But more than the authorities, it is near and dear ones that effectively ensure the lockdown, either through affection or friendship. So that brings us to the fundamental premise of our app, that when it comes to enforcement, there's a bigger force than authorities and laws. That is self-regulation, affection, and friendship. So that's how our app is different to the e-passes and physical passes. So for a concept, the central character is the individual who has no legal passes, yet will go out at some point, either in these 21 days or later too, when partial lockdown happens. So through this app, we are offering a age-old solution that is of a central register. So how it works is basically we give everybody an opportunity to self-regulate themselves by declaring it. And that register is available both to their loved ones as well as neighbors, as well as police officers. So I can, during the question time, I can take questions on, privacy regulation and all. And how it plays out is basically in two forms. We have a WAP interface as well as an app interface. Traffic police will be given a WAP, and general user will be given a this. So quickly, this is how I'm going to utilize best my 5 minutes. We go through the problem solution and we mention how we are different. And I'll take time to show a quick demo of all the app. We have made the app which is used by the traffic police, as well as the WAP, which is going to be a link shared by any user, which is how we are planning to virally market. The advantage of a WAP is it need not be installed. So quickly, this is the problem statement. So this speaks about how we are using social pressure. And so the main, again and again coming back, this is basically based on the premise that a society and an individual can control more than the police, because we are highly understaffed as a country. So we have done a comparative effect of other solutions also, and how these are different. Hope in case you will be able to go through the links provided in the Airtable and go through our presentation, these differences, as well as if we need more time in the same, I have put the presentation and the prototype and the video. We have both here in the link. It's called demo. This is slide number 9. And here we have, these are screenshots directly from the app we have already made. Coming back, how it works is, so for the web app for the general citizens, so there will be a link. They will, before they step out the house, they register that we are stepping out for this specified amount of time, and from which location to which location. That is what the individual does. So in case he is stopped by the traffic police, he need not stop and explain himself all the way. He can just show this app to the traffic police, who already will have a pre-installed app, and the QR code will be read through. So how the QR code is read through and all, we have a small video prepared here. Obviously, we don't have time to run it through, but I just want to show you the last part, where on the left side, you see the pass, the user's mobile phone, and on the right side, you will be seeing the police, how they can just scan. This is after the police is verified. Hope you are able to see my screen. So immediately the QR code gives all the information so that the police need not stop anyone and interview, and losing precious minutes. And that is what the app premise of the app is. So this is where it is a little different. Not only is your information shared with your loved ones, but also with the police. And hope I was able to convey quickly the prototype as well as the video. The links are provided here, and I can take the questions. And
Yeah, 1 minute.
a few things. Yeah, thank you. So these are the few things which we would be requiring from our side. We need infrastructure and basically an instance to run this. The database would not be very large, and we need volunteers to liaise with the authorities. We have already started efforts in reaching out to various governments. Especially, we got good response from both Bangalore government as well as Chennai government, where they will be, influencing their traffic police on the ground to install this app. So app installation is only for the traffic police. General population users use only a app. That is the one difference I can make. I have 5 more seconds. So maybe I can just take, this is the team. We came out together online. Everybody met online like an open source group on the.
This one.
Yeah. Thank you. Hope I was able to cover.
Sure.
I'm opening for questions now. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a question from Swapnil Patil. So how will police know if the person is under quarantine or is positive?
If possible, right now it is not a feature right now included, because it is not only about tracking the quarantine people, it is about tracking the rest of the whole Janata who don't have anything, and they are the largest volume, and we need their cooperation to make this curfew successful 21 days. Even if 5% of the people break the curfew, it won't happen, and none of the apps are addressing them. There are a lot of other apps which are addressing the quarantine. Having said that,
Sure.
we can add an extra layer by taking APIs from other apps which are providing information, and we have already thought that in the second version, where we will be hosting a heat map of quarantines, and as well as our users map overlaps, and show which areas are go no go areas.
Sure. Thank you, Dushyant. Moving on. Next is COVID maps presented by Funny. Funny, I am making you the presenter.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for having us here. We're Team COVID Maps, and what we do is help you find your essentials in your neighborhood. I'm joined by my co-volunteer Amit Goel. Just to set the context, the COVID-19 situation has up and governments from across the globe are actually locking down entire countries to combat the spread of the virus. And the situation itself is evolving by the day. What this leading to is that it's a new paradigm for our daily lives. And one of the big questions which people have on their minds at this point of time is, doodh kahan milega? Right? And of course, what I mean by doodh is not necessarily only milk, but also bread, eggs, medicines, groceries, even ATMs, etc., etc. And while the governments have actually permitted the functioning of these essential services, there are a bunch of actual problems on the ground. One of the biggest challenges, at least which we've observed, is the stores themselves, right? These essential stores. Most of these store operations have actually been hit by the COVID situation, and this is on account of various factors. We've all seen sporadic instances of police overreach on the ground. There are supply chain issues, manpower shortage, and just the fear of the virus itself is causing some of these stores to not open, right? From what we understand, more than 2/3 of the stores here in Bangalore are severely impacted by these issues. One of the other things which we've realized is that people are also looking for new markers, which they previously didn't need. For example, one of the things which we see is people are asking about safety precautions.
అంటే టైమర్ పెట్టుకుని దన్ అని చెప్పాను క్లియర్ ఉండిందా లేదా
Hello.
Sorry.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, you carry on. Carry on, Funny.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The markers are in the form of safety precautions, crowding at the store, what is the wait time, which are typical modus operandi don't support, right? I mean, while we would normally rely on something like a Google Maps or even our own knowledge, these systems no longer work. For example, if you go to Google Maps right now and search for Reliance Smart, it'll show you timings of 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., which is no longer true. And of course, these also don't have information around crowding, etc., which people want. So what's required right now is a solution to help people find their essentials in a safe and efficient manner. And what we're proposing is the solution called COVID Maps. So what does COVID Maps do? It's a crowdsourced data aggregation platform which helps people find and update stores in the neighborhood. We launched the web app about 7 days ago. And what it does is it captures critical information around store open close times, stock availability, safety precautions, crowding, wait times, etc., etc. It's fairly simple to use. All you need is a web app and a web browser and an internet connection. So for example, maybe I can just do a quick demo for you guys. So you just go to any web app and present COVID Maps. It opens up your city. Let's say you search for a particular area. You click, and then you find out, for example, shop on, and details around that, right? You can also add a store. For example, pick a nearby store and enter details about them, etc., etc. So I'll just go back to the presentation. Oops. My phone's stuck. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So one of the things which we have realized from people is people are looking for new store timings, the stock availability, tips, for example. People are also looking for wait times, safety precautions which are being observed. And all of this is basically crowdsourced information, right? We launched about a week ago. What we are seeing right now is about 12,000 people have visited the app in the last. It's purely organic. We've been covered by Times of India and Economic Times. We have 350 plus user submissions, while our primary focus largely has been Vancouver and Bangalore. Our entries are coming in from US, Poland, and Brazil as well. You can see the information which people are feeding by themselves completely. This is each marker here is a store which has been updated by people. I'll quickly go to the support which we need. What we are looking for specifically right now is we're trying to build a developer community. We're planning to make this open source for people to contribute. We have a fairly large list of things we want to build. We're looking for legitimate data sources. There's a cold start problem. Take a new city, we have to start from the scratch. So if there are any legitimate data sources which are already available from the government or any other means, we're looking for that. We're looking for support from startups and businesses that could enhance reach. For example, maybe send an email to their user base, etc. And a very minor credits for tech upkeep in the form of Places API or backend. We are a volunteer team. Yeah, and it's largely from our side.
So you have a question from Alok Mittal, one of our panelists. How do you build adoption for your tools? What's your plan for that?
Yeah, so largely the way we have done it so far is community action. As you see, everything we've done so far is organic, right? It's really heartening to see people help each other. We've sent it out to a few WhatsApp groups and people have spread it to their families and friends, etc. We've also been covered by the media so far, and a few influencers on Twitter also have tweeted about us. And that's largely how we are currently going from an adoption perspective.
Also, is there a way for you to use these services on top of Google Maps?
So that's something which I'm not really equipped to answer right now. I don't know this specifically, but
So
we'll do that.
can I actually answer that? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Excuse me, can you guys hear me? Okay, awesome. So basically, when it comes to the system right now, we're actually using the Google Places location API to actually put all the pins in. We're not directly using any of the data from the actual places yet, but that's something that we're actually currently building into right now. So not only will you be able to use the current information that the users give, but you'll also be able to directly use the directions API that Google has. So you'll be able to click on directions and open up Google Maps and directly track your path there. You need either the phone numbers and information that's usually available for a store that we don't actually have you fill in as the user because we have from Google Places. We're going to fill that in the next version that we're literally supposed to release in the next couple of days.
All right. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Funny. So we'll
Thanks
be
a lot, guys.
moving to the next project, which is Corona Warriors. Abhishek Datta, I'm making you the presenter.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
yes, Abhishek. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
yeah, I'm ready. Also.
Yes. Your time starts now.
Okay, so hey everyone, I am Abhishek Datta representing Team Corona Warrior. My team comprises of 5 members that includes me, Nisha, Piyush, Ragvinder, and Ankita. So the problem that we're going to bring light to is depression, anxiety, stress, fear, and of course all this baggage is coming from COVID-19. On March 27, a 23-year-old student jumped to death from a 7th floor of Delhi's Safdarjung Hospital. He had been quarantined under suspicion of corona infection, but later it came out that he was never infected. The question remains, why did he take his own life? A mother of a young baby is scared to touch her own kid that she might infect her. She has no idea if the precautions she is taking are good enough. A girl who became a bride a month back, she and her parents are choked to fear of not knowing how they are tackling this situation far away from each other. My point here is Jaan hai to jahan hai. What's the difference between a person who's infected and the person who's not infected when both of them are trapped inside their home? We humans are social animals. In general, depression is a brain disease. If not corona, then depression, stress, and to be worried for your loved one. Hence, COVID-19 crisis will increase depression, and depression will make recovery from the crisis even harder than we think. What we need is a solution to bring positivity and engagement. We present you a community engagement application that shows the user their progress of fighting COVID-19. It engages people in practicing healthy habits by rewarding them points. It will capture people in the moments where they spend time with family and connecting in groups indoors. Corona Warrior also provides a space for community discussions where copy paste are not allowed. So, no matter where you are on this planet, home or abroad, together or alone, you stay connected to your dear ones and you get to see the measures they are taking. We've got the product right in our hand, so now I'll quickly make you go through a demo of Corona Warrior. Hello? Yeah. So we have this interface. Now, once the user goes in the app, we give the user a brief of what the app is all about, some information regarding the same. We also make sure that the user follows Tandoori, which is having social distance. And this is the interface of the app, where the user has 4 dashboards. Like if a user wants to wash hands, so for every activity that the user performs, he or she will be getting some points. We also set this 30 seconds reminder because since WHO states that a person should hand wash for 20 to 30 seconds. Also, we do give a warning to save water, use required water and save water for life. Once the user starts the timer and the timer will go on and the user will get some points. We do have this timer on the above as well, top left corner, where the timer will go red when it's going to be 2 hours, because in every 2 hours we want the user to wash hands. With that, we are also giving the user something that they should save water. We have another activity which is sanitizing space and staying indoor, spending quality time. So for every activity you do, you can comment, or you can give a description and upload an image for the same. You'll be getting some points. Also, you'll be connecting to a group. So if I create a group, I can create any community where I can have my friends, my colleagues, my family, my neighborhood locality, and we all can be in the group. And the person with the maximum points will be the Corona Warrior of the day. Also, we do have this ask segment where people can, yeah, we do have this ask segment where the user can ask questions in general, and the person who is able to answer the question, they can answer it, but then the copy paste is not allowed. And then we have this trending bar, which states it's a global dashboard where the users globally, the person who has the maximum activity and is taking the best measures to fight COVID-19 becomes the Corona Warrior, and his profile is showcased. So we also have this contribute option where you can directly contribute to the PM's fund, right? So that is pretty much about the app. You can join new groups, you can have your gang with you, and you can trace your activities. We also give a push notification every few hours so that the user is constantly reminded to take the right measures. All right, that's it from my end. Thank you so much, guys.
Time's up.
Thank you, Abhishek. We have a question for you. So, are you launched? What's your stage?
So we have the beta version of the app. We will be done by tomorrow, and we'll be putting it up on Play Store. And with the timeline that Play Store is working, I think it's going to take 4 to 5 days. But then internally, we have started circulating the app to friends and families because we don't want to waste any second over it. All this is created in just 4 days.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. There's a general announcement. Teams who have presented, there are questions being asked in the questions tab of your GoTo meeting. Please check and revert back to all the questions that the attendees are asking. Thank you. So the next project is COVID relief from presented by Nasha Mehta. Nasha, I'm giving you the just a second.
Vivek, Nasha messaged me for an internet restarting. Try if it's working for her, otherwise move on and we'll get back to her.
I think she's offline at the moment. So Pradipta Sarma, I'm moving on to you. Pradipta Sarma is going to present suspect report.
Yeah, cool.
You have the access.
I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yes, your time starts now.
Yeah, cool. So the application that we have been working on is called Suspect Reporter web application. It's a web app for crowdsourcer information. So the basic idea behind this is to provide people a platform to be able to access and report suspects of the coronavirus. Thinking about this, we had 2 cases that we really thought about. The first being, I personally stay in an apartment where we had a person who had a travel history and he was having symptoms. He was coughing and he was having fever, but he was reluctant to go to the doctor and also was hiding his travel history. So the 2 use cases are like the crowd or the social workers. The crowd, in a way, like we have seen people who have symptoms and are hiding them. They may or may not have the disease, but it's always a good thing to be sure. Also, so this platform provides the people access to actually log in and report such cases, which will be taken action on by concerned bodies. Also, there are a few NGOs and social workers who are working in this. They're talking to people and collecting travel history and symptoms of people. This platform can act as a tool for those workers who can collect new data and make reports which can also be accessed later to change status or view the reports. This is the basic workflow of the application. If a user exists, you can directly sign in, or if not, you can sign up and then sign in. After signing in, you have two options to either report a new suspect or track your previous report. When you fill up the form, it is being saved into the database, and you get back an application ID. Using the application ID, you can go back and track it. If the database fails to save it, we throw an error, and the user can try saving it once again. If the user is an admin user, he also has access to some dashboard APIs in which he can see all the reports filtered by location, status, and other filters. We also have an asynchronous job running on RabbitMQ, which essentially does the thing of communication. So we have a scheduled job running at 30 minutes, which collects all the new reports that have come into the database and sends an email. Currently, the email has been configured into my email, so I get all the reports to my email ID, but this can be changed and configured to anybody which is actually concerned with the thing. The tech behind this application is based on Java 8, the Spring Boot framework. MySQL database has been used for the database. We have used RabbitMQ for asynchronous email sending, and the front end has been developed in Thymeleaf, HTML, and CSS. We have a few features, key features in this application. The first being user creation and authentication or authorization is needed for reporting a suspect. The reporter and the suspect details both are being captured. We send scheduled emails. This email can be changed to SMS or whatever form of communication the body is comfortable with. We have dashboard APIs to view and modify data. And this can be extended as an SaaS, which we will be discussing later. Let me just give you a brief demo of the application right here. So this is the login page where you can create a user, or you can log in if you already have one. After logging in, this is the page that you get in. You fill in the suspect details. You give a remark that he is sick, and then you enter the current location of the user suspect, something like this. And then you can also enter locations that he has visited to in the past. And once you click report, you get an application ID, the reference number. You can just use this reference number to go to the track tab and put it in there and track. So you get the status as pending. The status will change as soon as we send an email to the concerned body. The email looks something like this. So this is the list of all new reports that have come in at that point in time. This can be changed to a CSV or a better looking HTML format. We also have a few more applications integrated with this, like yeah, sure. You can add hospitals and also maintain stocks of masks and ventilators that they have. We also have another application which is still in development, that's contact tracing. We enter patient details and the people who they have been in contact with. This can be extended as an SAS, this can be used by any body or NGO which needs crowdsource of information, like the crime department, general health department, and stuff. The dashboards and the status code for reports can be configured as and when required. The email can also be configured easily so that anybody can use it wherever required. These are the additional applications that I already spoke about. What I require from you guys is contacts in the government and NGOs to onboard, funds and credits for infrastructure and development deployments, resource for a better design. Also, lastly, I would like to thank Team Coronathon for this opportunity, Nasir Ahmed and Hemant Sekia for the help with the development, and my two brothers, few college seniors and friends for testing and reports. Yeah, thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Pradipta. So, did you have any interactions with any of the government organizations about your app?
So I have been in touch with one of the companies who is probably working on this, but the talks have not really gone ahead too much. I'm still in talks, but I'm looking for people or NGOs who are willing to work on this so that I can do my part.
So if someone is reported as a suspect, who's going to verify this information?
That's the part actually. I can only provide the database. Somebody, the NGO or the government body who has access to this will be the one who will do the verification of the stuff. So this provides a platform for users. Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on, we'll go back to Nasha Mehta, who's going to present COVID relief. Nasha, I'm going to make you the presenter right now.
Yeah, okay. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, your time starts now.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Nasha Mehta. I'm a graphic designer and illustrator based out of New Delhi. And I've built COVID Relief, which is a crowdsourced directory of resources and donation drives to help us navigate the COVID-19 breakout in India. Why I came across like making this app was I was online on Instagram and I saw lots of people who wanted to help and were posting donation links. And in a day or two, I realized that there was no consolidated format that I could go back and visit any of them. And there are a lot of people who are seeing a lot of media currently feeling slightly helpless and want to go ahead and help. The current system is, the people who want to help reach out to the people and the NGOs that are providing help, the providers giving stuff to the people in need, but there's no real communication happening across the platform. So what we've built is a app that kind of allows you to see everything in one place. We collect our information online from people who submit through a Google Sheet currently. We would like to automate this and have a dynamic backend that kind of takes this in. It currently gets populated into our Excel sheet that we formulate and go through, verify to the best of our ability, and then plug back into our demo site. I'm going to show you the demo quickly. So this is a sample of the sheet that we go through. There's a couple of pages and you enter it. As soon as you enter everything, it enters this sheet, which is quite robust in terms of like the details that we're collecting from everybody. And then it gets plugged in into our app, which is currently only a mobile app that we're using on Glide, but we would like to move this onto a fully custom built backend system so that we have a desktop access as well. So we have donators, ground volunteers, government help, shelters, therapists, and this resource pool is increasing as the days go by. We can see our donators over here. These are the people that you could donate to. If you click on any one of them, you have their link, what areas they operate in, their contact details. So basically, we're trying to build a full resource of all the things that you could be needing COVID related. We are currently with about 250 donation drives, and the compilation lists are happening across various cities. Currently, we're only doing the one that is being populated in Delhi. We are speaking to other people who have like donation lists going up into 150,000 even. So it's just about integrating our system with their data and making it viewable. We would like it eventually to search by locality so that based on my area, I can populate all the resources that are available. Our wish list would be currently, there's no way of sorting the donations. There's no way of us giving importance to any one, which I think in some cases might be required because there are people who need emergency funding as opposed to like long-term projects. Lots of international donations and people who want to make international donations are currently not clear on which NGOs accept that or not. So we do want to include that as well. Our short-term needs are pretty basic. We have the image upload, which we would like to automate, Google Sheet technicians, because currently everything is on Google Sheet. Verification process and correction process is something that's going to be quite ongoing and vast because we've got quite a lot of submissions, and to make sure that they're all verified and put on the platform is proving to be a little challenging in terms of making sure that it is accurate. There's a lot of trust-based crowdsourcing that is happening right now. Going forward, we'd like to figure out that in-time model. Okay, and then our long-term needs, of course, is to have a desktop version because we've found that a lot of our users are a slightly older demographic that are more comfortable making donations on a larger screen. So for that, we would need to build a custom end backend, have good front-end developers because it's really important for it to be seamless visually. Donor profiles so that people can upload and download their content based on their requirements. And the current team members, there's just me, who's the design, direction, and concept. That's Nasha Mehta. And then we've got a volunteer, Chirag Medirata, who's doing the data management and collation. We've been live for roughly about 7 days, and the new build has been live for about 3 days now. So it's very new. We're going to start collecting our Google Analytics and data to see where we're sitting with everything. So that's roughly where I'm at. Thank you for listening.
So, Nasha, I see I have no questions for you, so I think we should move on.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Just another general announcement. So we do have a Q&A session with Biju Jacob, who's a Indian Director of United Nations Health Care, if I'm not wrong. So teams do stay back, and attendees, he and Arun will have a Q&A session talking about the needs right at the hour to deal with the COVID. So do stick around. Thank you. Moving on. It's Praneeth from COVID Safe. Praneeth, I'm making you the presenter now. Praneeth, can you hear us?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, we can see your screen as well. So your time starts now.
Sure. So we are Team COVID Safe, and we actually are a bunch of backend and data science engineers who came together to monitor your interactions, basically, because the easiest way to prevent COVID safe is to break the chain and wash your hands. Everybody says this, but how to break the chain until because you might not even have known that you got into contact with a person who might be positive in a COVID-19 situation. So how do you monitor this and isolate yourself and your loved ones? And that's the major question that we wanted to solve. So even if a single person is not isolated when he's positive, within 10 iterations, that roughly spreads to around 2,000 people. So isolation is the major thing that we have to do to protect ourselves from this pandemic. So what we have decided are, so what our algorithms do is that we collect information through our app, your geolocation informations, and we have made an algorithm that makes sure within a 10-meter radius, whenever there's a 3-meter radius, whenever there is another beacon, we mark it as an interaction and we store it as it is. So whenever there is a positive COVID case registered, we trace back all the interactions. Like layer 1 would be the interactions that are direct with the COVID-1 person. Layer 2 would be the interactions that have been with the persons who have came in contact with a direct affected COVID person. And layer 3 would be the persons who came in contact with layer 2. So that if you immediately have this list of people, you can check everyone's symptoms, and depending on the symptoms, you can either quarantine them or isolate them depending on the symptoms. So the major issue here is to know who are the people that have been potentially affected. So that is where we come in. We either with our applications, we have robust APIs that can be integrated with already available infrastructure. Let it be any app or most of the communities and most of the things. Smaller communities have also developed small apps. So our APIs can be used by any kind of application that has already user reach, and we start collecting information and storing in the our database, and we calculate the interactions. And whenever there's a positive like COVID-19 positive case, we trace back all the interactions to help authorities or help doctors to isolate the people that are necessary, like to whoever we have to isolate. We also help them home quarantine the people and notify whenever somebody is unknowingly coming in contact with someone who is already in home quarantine, which helps you protect yourself. And if a home quarantine person has to get their checkups done, and to track them, we issue them a QR code where they can show it in their hospitals, or in a chain of events. The COVID quarantine people can be tracked easily, and depending on their symptoms, we can make them either as uh, uh, they can come out of the quarantine, or they should be isolated and stuff. So our main issue is to collect the data and make sure all the people who are in that chain are identified and isolated, so that there's no spread of the virus out of that element.
Randy,
So
4 minutes. 4 minutes after
Yeah.
1 minute ago.
So our application is already done. We posted it in Play Store 4 days back, but it's taking a lot of time because of these adjusted timelines. We have tested it with a bunch of friends and family, and we are ready to scale right now. So that's the situation that we are in. Yeah, I'm ready for questions.
Thank you, Praneeth. So we have one question from Dr. Biju. Is how is it different than Arogya Setu that the government recently launched?
Yeah, so we have better algorithms in identifying different layers of people. That's one thing. The second thing is adaptability. For people to adapt to Arogya Setu, it takes time. So, and time is something that we don't have. There are already apps that have millions of users. Right now, we can use this robust APIs to collect information from already available infrastructure. Let's say, for example, you take Zomato. Zomato already has a good user base. So for them, they need not push to download a new app or something. We can directly collect information using our APIs through already available infrastructure.
Okay, thank you, Praneeth. Moving on, next is COVID supply. Ankit Raj, I'm coming to you, making you the presenter.
Hi, this is Ankit. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, your time starts now, Ankit.
Hi, everyone. This is Ankit. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I would like to thank everyone who's on this call, and especially Team Coronathon for making me a part of this hackathon. So these are my dedicated and passionate team members, and I would like to thank them as well for being a part of this initiative. And the initiative came from a call that I received from an AIMS doctor, Mr. Ramesh Bansal, who was actually begging for 200 PPE kits urgently, and I couldn't help him find that. And then I realized if this is the situation of the AIMS, what would be the situation of the other healthcare professionals in our country, and how capable are we to cope up with this pandemic of COVID-19? And this got me and my team thinking of what are the basic issues that we can solve to help make sure that the supply and demand are streamlined. And hence we started with the motive of empowering manufacturers to optimize and increase their production output. So these are the problems that the current supply chain has, which is basically fragmented. Raw material are scarce, logistics is also broken, government approvals take a lot of time. Then a lot of counterfeit products are in the market, which no one knows how to identify. Then on top of it, the manufacturers give their products to a lot of wholesalers and suppliers who hoard it to sell it at inflated prices, maybe 10x or 20x of the actual pricing. Also, the demand gets inflated because different people are approaching the same people for supply, and hence it looks like that demand is 10x or 20x of the actual one. And on top of it, the manufacturers don't have the access to working capital so that they can procure raw material or provide income to the daily wage laborers who are key to the equation. So we came up with a solution, which is basically streamlining the supply chain. We started identifying manufacturers who have the capacity to manufacture the kits or the equipment that is required for healthcare professionals, and arrange relevant resources or connect them to the relevant suppliers so that they can procure easily. Also, we are helping a lot of manufacturers getting raw material, initial access to cash, technical specifications, and certifications from government agencies so that they can quickly produce the required quantity and give it to the government agencies and hospitals who are in need. And when it comes to transparency or authenticity, we are also using blockchain, starting to use blockchain as a medium of making sure that the product that's getting into hands of healthcare professionals is authentic and not a fake one. We are removing the middleman layer completely, and we are trying to make a central demand tracker where we don't inflate the demand that's actually there in the market. So this is our initiative where we are connecting raw material suppliers to manufacturers, certification body to manufacturers, and eventually to government and hospitals using various mechanisms that we have in place. Right now, this is our current traction. We have onboarded 4 manufacturers, out of which 2 are new manufacturers who are going to start production next week or so, and 2 existing manufacturers who are going to ramp up their production capacity, and they can produce 50,000 PPE kits per month, which is worth 5 crores. We have also 4 big raw material suppliers onboarded right now. On top of it, we have a partnership with Zetwork, which is helping us with 100% advance working capital against a purchase order up to 2 crores. And on the demand side, we have already 1.5 crores worth of purchase orders which is awaited from 2 governments. And we're also in talks with 4 hospitals from 3 different states. The assistance that we need is we're looking for 3 operations people in our team who can help us in our day-to-day operations because this is operations heavy, and also connects to different governments, including Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and manufacturers and drop suppliers in the same state, because these are the areas which are worst affected. Also, since this is going to be a global, situation, we also need help with international demand sourcing, and on top of it, a grant or a fundraiser of 1 crore so that we can help our manufacturers and empower manufacturers with working capital as well. And this is the website that we have made currently. This is the first version of our website, and where you can submit your demand, and we'll connect you with the relevant manufacturers and suppliers in the locality and within 12 hours. Thank you for listening. I'm ready to take up any questions.
Okay, Satish has a question for you.
Yep.
So are you planning on building application on top of this? Or
yes,
how are you going to aggregate the demand?
Yeah, so we are going to build an application on top of this and make sure that we capture the demand. And we have already started work on it 3 days back, but it will be live in a week or so.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, we are moving next to Rajesh, Project COPE.
Yeah.
Rajesh, I'm just making you the presenter right now. Just give me a second.
Okay. Okay, can folks see my screen?
Yes, you're good to go. Your time starts now.
Hi everyone, my name is Rajesh Pateja. I'm going to talk about Project COPE, which stands for Community Outbreak Prediction Engine. Now, I know that's a tall claim. So what started as an initiative of basically trying to predict based on data, very soon we realized we need a team of eminent epidemiologists and doctors. So we've been working with them very closely to explain what this disease is. And in a nutshell, the next 5 minutes, I'm going to talk about where the testing stands in India, the lack of testing kits and stringent criteria. What can we do with what we already have, right? Essentially, we know that the body has an immune response to any infection, and what blood reports can tell us about the disease, and more explore it, right? And other indicators and new breakthroughs as we are discovering now with IgG and IgM markers in the blood reports. And we'll also follow up with a demo in terms of what are the next steps and help that we need from the community. So why are we testing so few people in India, right? I mean, essentially the criteria are very stringent, ranging from you have to be in an infected area, from an international traveler, and you have to be showing symptoms. And PCR is an expensive test, mind you, it's 4,500, right? And you have already self-quarantined and you're still showing symptoms, only then you're eligible to take a test today, right? So one of the things that as we are progressing along this project is how do we verify whether the blood report or immune report is good enough to indicate any kind of markers or trends at an aggregate level. So one hypothesis we said is, okay, can we somehow claim that, okay, there's statistically significant number of people have already got this disease and recovered from it without even knowing about it. And we know that a lot of people think they had it, and essentially there are some anecdotal data, right? So some people saying I felt sick, it was flu but not flu, and I had some cough. So we actually, with help from one of these startups, right, actually tried to plot a metric. This is one of the non-peer-reviewed metric, and it is still in exploratory phase, which is why we don't claim anything yet. But essentially, what we're trying to say here is there is a linear increase in the number of people who have been showing increased immune response to COVID-like symptoms. And if you see the green line, that is for the current year, and the red line is for the past year. And these two lines are following each other. Is this trend attributable to COVID? We don't know, right? So that's one of the things that we are trying to attempt to solve, right? And not solve, but try to inform. We don't want to infer yet, but we want to explore. So this is where our approach has more been of exploratory and trying to basically provide insights to the local officials and epidemiologists to see if they can deduce some trends and try to explore this disease better, right? What data are we considering for this? We had 100K samples with help from a live health, and essentially we plotted those for the last month of January through February, and they're going to help us with sourcing additional data as we progress along this project, right? Now, what is the new breakthroughs that we are talking about, right? Essentially, what we've recently been approved in India, ICMR has approved something called as IgG-IgM test, right? The RT-PCR test is actually only partial truth. It will only show you if you currently have the infection. It will not show you if you've already had the infection and your body has developed immunity against it. The IgG-IgM will actually help you tell, even after 28 to 30 days after you contracted, that you still have some antibodies in your blood which indicate it. So this is something very interesting as a data to collect, and we'll start plugging this data into our tools as early as this week, the coming week, in fact, and we'll start getting more and more data from the startup that we are working with, right? I'll quickly go through the demo, and essentially what we are showing here is a weighted average of a score, right? This is the India map. A local health official can basically look at this and drill down into their state, and by region and pin code, they can actually attribute the increase, maybe or may not be, to the outbreak zones, right? So essentially, this is a computational, it's like a weighted average of all the parameters that they'll explore in the blood, right? And the next process is essentially, this is more of an indicative. They can then explain, okay, why is this red, why is this green, why is this orange, and vice versa. And you can basically look at all these parameters and try to explain the disease, right? I mean, maybe there are some genetic factors which have not led to outbreak in India, which is still a good insight. So this is an attempt from our team to basically try and explain the disease and make sure that we can...
1 minute to go.
Yeah. With that said, essentially the request from community is that we know that these markers are effective at community level. They can actually detect asymptomatic cases, and it is cost effective at 200 versus 4,500. So we are requesting organizations, if they can volunteer their employees, especially the field workforce who are vulnerable, to be screened and share anonymous trends. And if they can also help us with additional CBC, CRP signals, which we can correlate while this IgG-IgM test is being scaled across the country, because it will not be available in the hinterlands, for example, right? So we can use whatever blood markers we can do with, right? So I'm joined by a team of eminent doctor and epidemiologists, along with a very, very competent team of front-end developers and UX designers who are helping us basically cope with this, so to speak. So that's basically what I wanted to discuss with the team. Thank you. Happy to.
Shrijit, I'm making you the presenter.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, we can see your screen, but it's blank though at the moment. We'll move to.
All right. Okay.
Abhishek Naik, I'm moving to you.
The Meghalaya government gave us a call and said, hey, you know what, like the CM's office needs like a control panel where they can track all sorts of logistics data that is relevant for them to track and be on top of. Meghalaya is a small state. It's a state with just 3 million people. So they have limited resources, and the state is just far apart. So they need to really be on top of it. And they have a small team managing this. So this CRM that we've built is for the CM's office, and it's used by multiple bureaucrats in their office and a couple of other district officials. We went live with this project literally like today, and we built this out in 2 days. So the things that it does today, one, it tracks health supplies data. These are all the supplies required by the hospital. Second is it tracks essential food and civil supplies like rice, petrol, kerosene, etc. The third thing is it tracks all citizens who have any sort of symptoms which might lead to like a COVID-19 positive test, right? And then the fourth thing is that the government gets all of this data from different sources. So all of this data is actually uploaded from a CSV because they don't have any APIs or any databases. So I'm just gonna move on to showing you a demo of how this thing looks. So this is the main panel that is used by the CM here. Here you get a overview of everything that's going on in the state. You can see the total number of calls being made to people to check up with the symptoms. You can track people who have all these symptoms. You can track all the health assets that are in the state today. These are PPEs, these are masks. You can also track food in, in quintals, food in liters, and those kind of things. This is what is used by the CM. The other bits of the application are used by the rest of the team. Going to the health assets, this is where a team can come in, somebody from the district can come in and upload a CSV and update this table so that they can have data for all of these individual districts. They can also update any item here so that if they run out of certain items or there are changes in the items, they can simply come here and update this to something else. Similarly, we have similar dashboards for food and civil supplies. It's again very similar to what I just showed you before. You can either see all the supplies here. You can see it by date. You can filter by subdivision, and you can like update the quantity either individually or by uploading a spreadsheet. The other app sites that we've built are this is to track the surveillance calls, and this is to track any sort of like testing data. Here in the testing data, the idea is that volunteers or employees of the state government, they call up every person who has some sort of a positive symptom like a cough, fever, or breathing issues, and they call them up every single day for 14 days to track if their symptoms have gotten worse or not. And that's basically the idea. So here, this data is dummy, so there are really no positive results yet in Meghalaya, so you don't need to worry. So this is something that that we built over the last couple of days, and it's going to be the main control panel that's used by the government. So if you're a developer, the things that we use is, one is we use this tool called AppSmith, which is a product that that we've built. Second is we use PostgreSDB to store all our data, and then we use Postgres to easily just generate APIs. It took us about like 24-30 man-hours to do this. The asks that I have from people here, one is, if you know a local or a state government that can start using this immediately, I would love to customize this and deploy it for them. The second thing Sure, thanks. The second thing we're looking for is developers who can actually contribute to this project and add a bunch of features. We are a small team and we are unable to move as fast as the government needs us to. So we would love any sort of help. My email is here. It's abhishek@appsmith.com. I'd love to hear from some of you. So this is really all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Abhishek, just a question. So how is someone going to enter data into this application? Is it an API access, or how do you input data into this?
So all data is done by uploading a CSV.
Okay, so there are no integrations as of now.
No, there are no integrations. So the government really doesn't have disparate systems which have APIs. All the data is generally like floating around in CSVs, spreadsheets, some sort of a BI tool that somebody might have deployed for a particular department. We found that the easiest way for them to adopt this tool is to really just like click here, upload a CSV, and just see all of that data right here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you so much.
Shijit, I'm coming back to you. I'm making you the presenter.
Hello.
Yes, Shijit, I just made you the presenter. Your screen still white.
Can you shift it to my secondary presenter, please, and do after the next presentation? There's some problem with my net connection right now. The video isn't going.
Sure. Okay. We are moving to, I think, Dr. Kamachi. And We can see your screen now.
Okay.
You want to go ahead?
Now I can proceed. Now I can proceed.
Okay. Dr. Kamachi, we'll get back to you next. Okay, thank you. Please carry on. Your time starts now.
Okay. So hi, good evening, everyone. So our idea is Coronathon. It's a regulatory prevention cum tracking app that is built upon the idea of active color QR code scanning with real-time status updation, specially targeted to put a stop on the chain growth pattern that this virus spreads with. So a specific approach has been taken to take this to the masses and to stay relevant post this pandemic time as well, which you will be noticing as this concept unfolds. So keeping in mind these couple of headlines that are right now up on the major news portals, we spotted a common pattern, which is the key of ending this pandemic, which is test, treat, trace, and isolate. And that's exactly what laid the foundation of Coronathon. It's basically a color-coded QR recognition app which puts a check to direct and indirect interactions that occur during and after the period of this lockdown. The color of QR display changes according to the health condition of the user, which happens through a set of protocols which are verified by medical authorities only. So someone who's self-declaring, he won't create any buzz in its chain. So after the basic registration and verification through Aadhaar, our first encrypted ID, which is UUID, is generated, user unique ID is generated, corresponding to which a QR code is displayed on your home screen, which will be post login and which will be your landing page basically. What we are trying to achieve here with the support of government and public authorities is a trend of what we call a modern contactless handshake, where every person you meet greets you by scanning the QR. If we get the right authority support, it can be made as a legal compulsion to step out of the house, just as driving license is required for you to drive a car. So this is a sample case of user interaction where 3 interactions are taking place between A and B, A and C, and A and D. Now, suppose after 5 to 7 days and at different geographical locations, A develops symptoms and decides to go to a medic. So he can fire up our app and there'll be a self-declaration form for him. He can fill it up, post which he'll be shown a list of medics nearby. He can book the appointment from there as well. And only official registered and verified medical practitioner gets our blue QR code and access to the medic dashboard. So once a patient walks to you, you can scan, being a doctor, you can scan his QR code. And on scanning the QR code, a dashboard is displayed with all the symptoms with which the patient can be marked normal or can be sent for testing. All the interactions between the doctor and patient are monitored via DPID, which is the doctor-patient interaction ID. So now if the if the person is tested positive, his QR is turned red upon verification by a doctor on a valid report upload only. So the doctor uploads the report, it comes to our Coronathon secure server, and after that only any warning or any red warning or yellow warning triggering is happening. So all those who have been in direct or indirect contact with corona positive patient will be intimated with a specific color code. Now, why Coronathon? Obviously, this is a big question right now with the launch of Arogya Setu as well. So one obvious concern is, how do we use things offline? So our app being a two-way app, so basically A can scan B as well, B can scan A as well. So with that capability, what you can do is, what you can achieve is printable QRs. So suppose you have a small child at your home, you can just give him a printable QR and all the interactions that the other guy can trace can happen through that printable QR. So we have rapid scalability as well. So what will happen, we will be more than happy to give this as an API to government apps, delivery apps, and healthcare healthcare apps, as well as hospital chains that they can link with their apps. So basically any delivery that's happening, that interaction between the delivery boy and you, for an example, is also being tracked. So, and this has also the capability of local sync when the internet is not available. And mainly the thing is, we are safeguarding the entire chain reaction, even of intimating anyone by putting
it's 1 minute ago.
All right. So this has got a future expansion possibility as well, where we'll put it as a QR-based travel pass and area access app. And the reason we chose QR is because it's a widely accepted payment. In fact, at the level of when funds are going through, people have accepted it there as well with apps as shown below. And right now, the support we need includes, like, we need mentors for government and UIDAI authorities for obviously Aadhaar verification. And we need private medical care chains to link with us. And any tech team support from the above 4 mentioned QR payment apps will be really great, because they've got a huge experience of QR within themselves. And obviously, I would love to connect with more passionate techies on this journey. So yeah, thank you. I'm open to questions now.
Thank you, Srijit. Dr. B2 has a question for you. Are the doctors listed over here are from the designated government fever clinics Corona?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
The doctors that are as listed doctors, are they designated government fever clinics?
So absolutely. So so whenever you install this app, you will get three options. Either you registered as a public area authority, or you register as a medic or as a normal civilian. So when you will select the medic, we'll have a verification process. Only after getting the verification done, then only you will be able to you will get the access to the medic dashboard.
Okay. So having this interaction through QR code handshake is a change in human behavior. So how do you plan to approach this challenge?
Absolutely. So what I think is so my ideology goes like, whenever I'm designing an app or anything, there should be an incentive for the other person to download it, else there are a couple of millions app out there. So how I'm targeting the problem that you have asked is, this is an incentive for you as well, because I don't know the friend that I'm meeting or the family member that I'm meeting. In the next 5-7 days, if suppose we are not meeting again, the geographical location is not the same. At that point of time, if we develop some symptoms, so it's for my own personal benefit that I do the QR scanning. And I mean, if we can do big money transactions as well through QR nowadays, then this is, yeah.
Thank you, Sujit. So moving on, I'm giving Somenath Garau, Dr. Somenath Garau, I'm giving you the presenter rights. Dr. Kamachi, can you unmute yourself and start with the demo?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Am I audible to you now?
Yes, you're audible. Just a second. Somenath Garau, Doctor, do you want to switch on your webcam as well?
No, I think he will not be coming in the webcam, because I have taken all the, I think, control. I think, yeah.
No, you don't have the presentation rights, ma'am. Should I give you the presentation rights of everything?
Yes. You give me the, that is better.
Okay. Okay, can you share your screen now, please?
Yeah. Show my screen or?
Show my, yes, we can see your screen. Yes, your time starts now.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Kamakshi Shankaranarayanan, and I will be presenting on two important topics. One is antiviral mask and Aqua Sanitizer. So we have a team of 6 members and with two team leaders. One is Dr. Somnath Garai and myself with relevant experience in chemistry and physics. And we have team members starting with Dr. Murli and Dr. Manas Roy, Mr. Neeraj Kumar Shah, and Dr. Sharachandra Babu with the chemistry and chemical engineering backgrounds. And moving on to the very important aspect of this presentation, we will be working on antiviral mask, which is working on the regular masks. So we are all aware we have to wear the masks nowadays, and currently available in the market is a 3-ply system. 3-ply masks are available, and they are 95%. It is not permitting any other particles in that, but they are not as effective against the viruses. Okay, so we have developed a solution based on metal quantum dot embedded nano oxidic matrix. That is, we are embedding the metal quantum dots onto polymer matrix, which will be coated on the fiber of the material, and that will be useful against that will be used in this mask, which will be our product. And this is a prototype of the material. This is what is available in the market, and here we have taken this particular layer. I don't know whether I can point this, but there is a I think there is a pointer.
Yes, we can see you. Please carry on.
Yeah, so this is our this is the material which will be useful in this is the material where we will be coating our nanomatrix onto this, and this will be will be melt blown, and that will be used for the antiviral mask production. So this is one of the product that we are talking, and just a minute. Yeah. So our how do I remove this round? I don't know.
Just carry on, ma'am. Not an issue, please.
Okay, fine. So, the work plan for this is actually we have already synthesized this metal and quantum dots, and we have coated it on the surfaces, and we have evaluated the coating, and it is super hydrophobic actually, and we have given this for testing, and due to the lockdown, we are not able to get the certification done, and once the certification is done, we can go for a bulk production of these materials, and then carry on with our production of the masks. So this is one part of the presentation, and we also would like to present another product where this is known as the Aqua Sanitizer, and we know that nowadays during the COVID-19 crisis, the large areas are disinfected, especially the outdoors, and they currently they have using bleaching powder, which is nothing other than sodium hypochlorite, and they are used in large quantities. And in China, it has been observed that it causes problems to the human as well as wild animals because of the continuous usage. And even now there is a report in the Hindu newspaper, that in Chennai they have used 300 kilograms per 10,000 liter. That is, a tanker lorry contains 10,000 liter of water, and they are using 300 kilograms of the bleaching powder.
Dr. Kamakshi, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Hello.
You have 1 minute to go, Dr. Kamachi. You can.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, so so this is being used, and hence we have developed a novel nanomaterial with the following advantages. One is we only the nanomaterial is quite stable, and it doesn't need daily disinfection on a daily basis. And second is we need only nanogram per ml quantity of this nanomaterial, and so it will be not harmful against any human or animals, and we will be using seawater, and so it will be cost effective. Compared to 300 kilogram of bleaching powder they are using per 10,000 liters, we will be using only 1 kilogram of our product, and that is the advantage with this our material. And future plans include, this is a prototype of the material where this is the product we have developed, and this is and this will be used for disinfection. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have 2 questions from Dr. Biju.
Yeah, please.
How do you compare it with HIEQ viroblock?
HIQ?
HIEQ. HIEQ viroblock. Okay, you can check back with Dr. Biju in the chat section.
Sure.
Sorry, what is so that is the element that is being used in the 3M mask right now.
Okay. Means I will get back to you. Yeah.
Sure. And then, sorry, please. And the next question is, what kind of changes is required in the current manufacturing process to mass produce these masks?
Antiviral mask?
Yes, your masks. Does it require significant changes in the supply chain?
No, we don't need any supply chain. We don't need any change. We are using the same material. As you have seen, we have bought a material from the market, and we have taken it and coated with our nanomaterial, and we have given it for testing. So we don't need anything. Only one place we need to coat it, and that is also a very simple and easy process to be done. So we don't need to change any supply chain in the moment. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Kamakshi. Moving on, Debashish Bauri, I'm going to make you the presenter. Debashish, can you hear us? Hello? Debashish, can you hear us? Hello? Hello.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, Debashish. We can see your screen as well. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, hello guys.
Your time starts now. Sorry. Yeah, carry on.
Okay. So my application is very simple. I hope you guys can hear me. So we have developed an application, mobile application, which is already done. We are about to launch it on the Play Store after all the final round of verification. So what we have done is, during this crisis period of time, neither Google Map or any other third party or API we're gonna work at this moment to get you the help in your community. So we are asking everyone to join into a particular community near your place or into your city, and that could help each other. So the concept is such a way that if the people will join into this community or join into this application just by simply putting their mobile number, because because they need help in some time, and they could also help other people as well. It's kind of like you have a O negative blood group, and you are going to the blood donation camps because you can need O negative bloods in later stages in your life. So this is a crisis situation, and over here we need to help each other. So we are asking everyone to register into this application, and automatically they will register into a particular community of their own locality. So after joining into the application, the application shows three tabs at bottom. One is messages, that is the broadcast messages by the community. So it is kind of a wall where all the people has broadcasted something. It could be a helpful information, it could be a silly information as well. How to validate those information? Because as you can see, there are tick marks and cross marks out there. So based on those user inputs, you could see these messages or this information are valid or not. So you can see that in my application, one buddy says that I can help with surgical gloves. So is whether this information is good. So I can tap on the comment section, and I can say yes, these are the correct information. Somebody has approved into this. So by seeing this approval or by seeing these comments by other users, this information can be validated. And then I switch into the next tab. Over here you can see there are so many messages out there who curated by or created by other peoples, and there are valid information. And I can go to the community tab now. Over here you can see the other community peoples who have already registered into this application into the map. So by seeing over this, I can assume that these people can help me out in some way. I can tap over this markers, and I can see who these people are. And behind this beside this map section, also I have the list. So here are the list of a particular area and the people who are surrounding me. So these are all collected data from the GPS locations and plotting into the map. So this users, I can see it, I can tap over them, and I can see how these people can help me. So this is Suman Datta. I can see his address, his phone number, and he can help me with what the help elements he could, what the things that he could help me, that I can see over here. So this person on Chakrabarti, they can help me with medicine and home delivery, food homes delivery, water supply. So we are asking many users. We are asking all the users around you or around other people to register into this application and provide all the information or provide all the help materials or the way they could help others. So this person can help me with these things, and also in future would this person could also seeking help in these regards. So these are all listed over here. Now the basic the
Devashish, 1 minute ago.
purpose. Yeah, basic. So we have, apart from this, over here you can directly message that person. We have a profile section over here. You could you see your messages. You can other people send to you. You can reply with them. You can broadcast messages, or you can broadcast to government, to medics and others. And you over here you have your
we have this search button. So in search, suppose you want to see some information about the sanitizer, you want to buy a sanitizer, and there is nowhere you could get it. Over here you can type over sanitizer, and you can search over here, and then you can say there's somebody has given you some information in the community that you can help give hand sanitizers. You could tap over there, and you could see that this is the people, and this is the comments against this person. So this way, around your community, you could get all the help information and all the required stuffs.
Time's up.
Yeah, and we have also plans to expose these things into a SMS based application, SMS based services, because everybody is talking about smart app, but nobody is thinking about the basic phone users. So we have the exposed API.
Thank you. So Devashish, we have just one question for you. How do you validate the users who are joining into your community?
Yeah, so over here we have phone number verification process, and after that over here you could see if you provide your phone number.
I mean to say, not just this verification, the information verification as well.
Yeah, so that is totally up to themselves. So user can add their information, their help, how they could help others, and what the help they could seek, and then based on the user comments or users tick and cross marks over there, if they found this information are good, they know these people, they could press tick, tap on the tick, and they could, if unvalidated, then they can cross.
Sure,
and
thank you.
That way this is going to be validated.
Sure, thank you. So this sums up all the demos that we have for you today. Now Arun will be having a Q&A, moderated Q&A session with Dr. Biju. So Arun.
Thanks Vivek, and thanks for all the teams for the wonderful presentations. Dr. Biju, I'll keep this a 10-minute Q&A. We have primarily 3 questions that's been coming from all of the teams. Thanks for your time and agreeing to give us this outline. If you could tell, primarily as you see, a lot of the teams are tech-driven and they're coming from the technology side. But can you please enlighten us and the rest of the audience on what are some of the nuances when we have to address it from a government or a healthcare industry standpoint in the current situation where it's a pandemic?
Yeah, thanks, Arun. Arun, primarily, I think I would focus purely on the medical fraternity standpoint. What I see is like we know that the spread is comparatively every day it's getting bigger. So the primary object should be how do you kind of manage to reduce the burn in the healthcare provider side. So all these technologies which has been listed here, today's demo day and even the last week, which work towards buying us more time, making this on a staggered mode so that our current healthcare capacity is good enough to take care of those people who potentially get into serious conditions. So that's kind of means a critical condition. So that's something which we are primarily working towards. To make that happen, we need to have technology to kind of manage most of the people and stratify them whenever they are in isolation. We need to have capacity built over detecting this from the home conditions, stratify them whenever we need, move them into the healthcare facilities, building some of the purpose-built isolation facilities, a few innovations like what's going on with the railways, making new tent-based capacity. So those are the kind of primary objects which we have set out right now. And that would go on with 3 separate stages of categories, which I can talk on the go based on your questions.
Anything you would like to say from the government standpoint, like how is the government going about prioritizing the innovations that they see, and what does it take for them to get adopted in the real sense?
So when it comes to that, as I mentioned, like mostly the capacity building is for, I mean, as you know, this is for 80% of the people who would be getting this would be mild cases, but those who need hospital-based um, critical care who will be going into ARDS, what should be the management processes, setting up fever clinics across where the process is getting smoother, people who can actually get managed there. So the capacity building over there is the priority right now. There is also some work around looking at people who have got already exposed to this in the healthcare side by testing serological test, and some of them who are immune see that they comes in the front line for the support, coming out with the better PPE so that the disaster situations like what has happened in Italy where more than 70 odd doctors we lost them. So to avoid such kind of situations, building on PPE capacity, such kind of efforts are something which is in the priority right now. And also looking at how do you see a smooth transition from the lockdown, coming out of that, what would be the right way of finding out the hotspots, opening up the lockdown on a staggered way so that we can actually plateau the spread. So these are the kind of priorities at this point of time.
Hear all of this.
Sorry.
Sorry, for those of you who missed, Dr. Biju's the India Director for UN Healthcare Innovation Exchange. Dr. Biju, could you give us some examples of some innovations that saw adoption through the UN Health Exchange? And
So
what
we
does
have
it take to get that adoption?
Right, I could take a few examples. What we have done is, as soon as this was actually spreading like wildfire in China itself, we started running a global COVID innovation index, where we scouted for technologies which can be repurposed immediately and we can get it into the practice. So basically, the problem was we did not have enough time to come with a new technology, test it and all. So few areas which we focused were, one is the AI-based company called Information, which we kind of identified early on and assisted them in scaling. Later on, that's been taken to multiple other countries, including Italy. So what it was doing is try and assist in screening more than 130,000 patients by applying AI in their first line of screening, which is X-ray or any of the imaging-based test, where certain patterns being trained with the system with which they can quickly pick it out. And after the screening, they are confirmed with the standard RT-PCR test. So such kind of technologies which could be scaled was tried. We've also looked at retractable syringes, which avoids needle prick injuries and things like that. So promoted such kind of technologies. Also looked at IT systems where proper communication, the needs can be put in place, that can also scaled. We are also looking at such similar programs in India as well. You would have heard the last day TrueNat has got approved by ICMR, where the capacity which is built over across India for TB detection is being repurposed for COVID testing. Similarly, we are looking at Cure AI to be also scaled for X-ray AI-based management. We're also looking at few other technologies which can actually look at radically different ways of detecting patients who have got COVID by cough acoustics, which is on a fast track validation with ICMR right now. So these are the kind of activities which we're doing. We've got more than 500 odd technologies across the globe trying to accelerate. Other than the vaccines and the prophylaxis activities, technology side, this is what we've been doing.
Last question from my side. Meanwhile, I can encourage any audience, if you have questions, kindly type in, I'll take it from there. Dr. Biju, what's the regulatory environment for, current pathway for it? Again, getting any of these solutions. So you mentioned there's a fast track from ICMR. So any of these solutions that we just saw demoed or, others, how do they approach ICMR, or what most of these are tech-based solutions. They don't know ICMR and the process. Can you help us outline this?
So most of the technologies which we discussed, which is coming in the category of digital health, where it doesn't have to go through specific, randomized comparative study or anything of such sort. The only thing which comes here is about the privacy and things like that, which primarily doesn't come purely under the ICMR of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. We actually focus mostly on seeing the sensitivity, specificity of various new tests which is coming. There is not less than a dozen of new PCR-based tests, new versions of serological tests, which is kind of coming in the process where we could assist and fast track. That's some area which we can do, and we would be needing a lot of such testing coming, increasing capacity there. Second is PP equipments like the one which was presented, where antiviral filtration rates, testing that kind of things for masks and even coverall gears. Also in oxygen concentrators, which one step before patient getting into a ventilator, or people kind of with comorbidities to be managed. So such kind of interventional products would be an area where we would look more for efficacy and standards. Most of the digital health things which is coming here has to look at the privacy and aspects like that. We could actually put them across to the right track to kind of scale up. At this moment, I feel rather than working in silos, so we could probably club up few companies together and maximize their impact, join hands together to make this reach multiple places is something which I'm thinking would be right.
Thanks. There's one question from the audience from Naval. He's asking, how long does it take to upskill medical staff to use invasive ventilator in an ICU? Maybe you can broaden this by saying, at this point, we need a lot of medical staff. So paramedics, how can they be upskilled, and what's the long-term answer to this?
Right. So this is a need which has come up from the state government of Kerala first, because they were trying to upskill the medical staff there. So there is an initiative where, with the support of WHO, there are some quick video-based online training programs which are going to be going through, and then certifying them to handle this. That's something which is in talk. But honestly, to get them handle this kind of things, that scenario, it's not easy, but we are expecting 1 or 2 days of hand holding, and the training certification would make them more prepared. That's what we are working towards right now. And it's not completely done. It's in the process.
Thanks so much, Dr. Biju. We will connect you with some of the teams, and in the audience, you can please feel free to connect with him as well. I'll just take a minute to have some of our supporters and the panelists for 30 seconds to kindly say a few words about their experience here. May I unmute Ms. Chandana Agarwal, please? Ma'am, you're on. Kindly, yes.
I think there was some very nice ideas over here, but I completely agree with Dr. Biju. And about the fact that I think the first priority would be to look at healthcare workers and how we can make sure that they are protected. And I would like to go through all the ideas again and see where I can kind of add that and how I can help scale them. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Pranay from National Health Authority, I'm just unmuting you.
Yeah, thank you, Arun. I think, again, big hats off to the organizers for bringing in another round of a very successful demo day. I particularly have been impressed by a couple of projects, and I shall be reaching out to them later in this week on scoping out possible synergies between our mission and between the mission of the respective ideas. I would just emphasize on 2 aspects that Dr. Biju was also highlighting. I think we should focus on breaking these silos and probably incorporating collaboration between different initiatives in order to create a more robust solution. And secondly, when it especially comes to when it comes to digital health startups, I think what we need to be cognizant of is data security and privacy. India as such does not have data security. India as such does not have uh, the regulatory framework for digital health startups, and that is why you need not have like a FDA equivalent approval to get your idea up and running, which is a blessing a blessing at this point in time, because we can have a lot of ideas coming in. But I think the founders need to be cognizant that necessary data protection, data security norms are taken care of in those ideas, because from a government standpoint, I think that is extremely crucial.
Thanks, Pranay. I do see some of our panelists. I did not see them online, but Mr. Alok Mittal has left a thank you note for all of us. I'd like to just thank all my co-organizers, Paras Chopra, Satish Raghuraman, Vivek, Sparsh, Alok, Ansh Agarwal, Shruti. Sorry, guys, am I missing anyone? Thank you, everyone, for the effort, and thanks to the audience for being patient with us. And kindly get in touch with us if you want to help any of the teams. We have shared the Airtable links, which has a summary of all the teams, and we shall also send out an email with any specific questions or connections you have requested for so far. Thank you all. Paras,
Arun,
Satish, guys, am I missing anyone?
Yeah, Arun, I would like to thank you for being a co-organizer, and also thank Ankit, Jain, Chandaresh, and many other volunteers, Shruti, Kritika, Cynthia. All of us are doing in this, in our part-time, and totally amazed by how this thing is evolving. So thank you, Arun, you as well.
Okay, thanks, guys.
So, so you can, we'll be shutting down the demo, and we'll be sharing the recording as well with all the attendees. Thank you so much for joining us today.